Hello my fellow VSGers, this is Joe Saint along with Frankensleeve coming to you again with another quick fact, frequently asked questions. In this fact, I would like to address the question, does anyone regret having weight loss surgery? And yes, there are people who have had horror stories from having weight loss surgery, and some people have died from having weight loss surgery. It is a major surgery, even though by watching the commercials and reading online, it seems like a walk in the park. It is a one-day procedure where you go in the morning, you have your surgery in about an hour to 2 hours, and they wheel you out, make sure that you're completely awake, and do a leak test on you, and then send you back home the next day. So it's like an overnight outpatient type surgery. But it is a major surgery, and there can be major complications. Now, as far as regretting it, I have read several stories where people did regret having it for their own personal reasons, whether they were dealing with mental issues or physical issues, where they may have had some kind of complication from the surgery, or they may have gotten an infection. But in my case, I was in a great deal of pain post-surgery. It had really nothing to do with the surgery. I was on the morphine drip for about 24 hours, and I was not experiencing any real heavy discomfort. My discomfort was all centered around the pressure in my chest from the leftover gas. My physical discomforts were coming from all the gas that they pumped into my body to inflate my stomach for the surgery, and it felt like quite a bit of pressure up around my chest, up around my heart area, and as typical for many VSGers, I felt pains in my shoulders. But that all slowly eased away with that morphine drip. Yay, morphine drip. And I was feeling okay. They had me up and walking about 6 hours after surgery, and from what I'd read in preparing for this surgery, I knew that walking was the best thing for me, even though I really didn't want to do it. I did get up and made 3 to 4 laps around the hospital floor as they wanted me to do. So that was about every 2 hours. My real pain came in the next day after I had done the leak test, and my doctor was supposed to come sign me out. He was running late by about 6 to 7 hours. So they had taken me off of the morphine and taken my IV out about 4 hours earlier before the doctor showed up. So all that pain medication was wearing off. And for some reason I got a tremendous case of the hiccups, and I hiccuped nonstop for a good 5, 6, 7 minutes. I'm not sure how long. It seemed like it was never going to stop, but I didn't actually time it. But the hiccups caused me to stretch the staples in my stomach. Nothing severe where I had to have more treatment or anything, but it did stretch it enough so that the pain returned, and I was in a great deal of distress. And to top it off, I had a 2-hour drive back to my house after surgery. So I was hurting pretty good on the way home, and the doctor released me about 4 o'clock, and he'd written me a prescription for pain medication, but being that late in the evening on a Saturday, I hadn't planned on stopping anywhere and having it filled. So I didn't have any kind of pain medication to take before the ride. And I can tell you what, from having those staples stretched a little bit, I felt every tug, pull, turn. I would notice the slightest bump in the road. I had to get my driver to start slowing down at red lights about twice as far as he would normally start stepping on the brake, because just the pull from the slowing down sensation of the car was enough to cause me a lot of pain in my stomach. So that was one ride from my hospital back to my house I will never forget. I wish it was the kind of pain you forget, but I do remember it. I don't remember the actual physical pain, but it's burned in my memory how much I was hurting. And when I got home the next day, my friend did go out and get my pain medications, and it was so disgusting that I almost threw up. He gave me some of that liquid codeine, and I tell you, I cannot understand how any drug fiend can drink that stuff, because I sure couldn't. I tried 1 tablespoonful and I poured the rest down the drain a few days later because I knew I would never take it again. I would rather suffer through the pain and the pressure that I was feeling than take that stuff ever again. It was awful. So for the next 9 days or so, I was in quite a bit of agony. So I couldn't lay down flat on my back. Every time I would lay down, I would feel a pulling sensation in my stomach, and I'm a side sleeper, so I couldn't lay on my side. Each time I would try either side, I would feel the pulling sensation. And basically what I had to do was take an old comforter and roll it up like a big log and prop myself up on the headboard like I was propped up in the hospital bed, and that seemed to work out pretty good for me. Although, like I said, I am a side sleeper, and learning to sleep on my back was pretty difficult for the first 5 or 6 days. And about day 8, I noticed that I could lay on my side, either side, with no problems. And after that, it got easier and easier. And I went back to work on day 10. And after that, I had no real issues with laying on my side and sleeping, and the pain was really all gone by day 9. So even though I went through all that, I would still say I would do it in a minute. I can't honestly say that if I had been told how much pain I was going to be in, that I could have manned up and had the surgery anyway. I would like to think that I did, that I could have done that. But realistically, if I'd been told how much I was going to hurt, I would really have to think about it a long time. But I do not regret going through it. It's been worth every minute of the pain. And all I can do is hopefully this will help give anyone else who's looking for information about whether to make the decision or not. I can't make the decision for you, but I can give you my experience and say, hey, it was risky. I was at the point in my life where I didn't care whether I lived or died. I just knew that I could not continue living this way. I was in pain in my feet and knees, hurt almost daily, to the point where I could have used crutches to walk around on them. My sleep apnea was so bad that I was not sleeping very well. I was constantly tired all the time. I could never get enough sleep, even with the sleep apnea machine. And I knew that I had to change my lifestyle, or basically I was going to become a shut-in. I could see where I was spiraling downhill, and I was not far off, maybe a couple of years away from being the point where I could not do my job anymore at work. And I would be one of those people you see on TV where they're cutting you out of the house and carting you off to the hospital with a forklift. So hopefully this helps out anyone who's on the fence about VSG surgery or any bariatric surgery, to let you know from personal experience what happened to me. So get out there and make your own decision, learn as much as you can about the surgery, and good luck to you. So this is Joe Saint and Frankensleeve saying goodbye from VSG land. And keep pimping that sleeve.